Ever wonder why no matter how hard we try, society always seems to snap back into a pyramid shape? From the schoolyard playground to the corporate boardroom, from ancient empires to modern democracies, one thing remains constant: hierarchy. We talk a big game about equality. We dream of a world without bosses or leaders, yet everywhere we look, someone's on top and someone's at the bottom. Is this just a flaw in our systems? Or is it something deeper, something hardwired into our very DNA? What if I told you that our endless quest for a perfectly flat society is not just a difficult dream, but a biological impossibility? Today we're diving deep into the uncomfortable truth about power, status, and why humans, no matter what we do, can't seem to escape the ladder of hierarchy. This isn't just a random pattern. It's a phenomenon explained by what's called social dominance theory. This theory proposes that hierarchy isn't just a social construct we accidentally stumbled upon. Instead, it's a fundamental organizing principle for human societies, something that has evolved over millions of years. Think about it. In any group, from a small tribe of early humans to a massive modern nation, decisions need to be made, resources need to be allocated, conflicts need to be resolved. A flat structure where everyone has equal say sounds great in theory, but in practice it often leads to chaos, indecision, and paralysis. Hierarchy, for all its faults, provides a shortcut. It creates a clear chain of command, a system for who gets to decide what, which ultimately allows large groups of people to coordinate their actions and achieve common goals, whether that's hunting a mammoth or building a skyscraper. This tendency is so ingrained that we see it emerge spontaneously, even in environments designed to be egalitarian. Let's look at history. Countless movements have started with the noble goal of creating a perfectly equal society. The French Revolution cried liberty, equality, fraternity. It tore down the monarchy, only to see Napoleon rise as an emperor. The Russian Revolution aimed to create a classless state for the workers, but it rapidly devolved into one of the most rigid and brutal hierarchies the world has ever seen, with the Communist Party elite at the very top. Even smaller-scale experiments like communes and utopian communities founded on principles of total equality often find themselves struggling. Over time, informal leaders emerge. Certain individuals, whether through charisma, expertise, or sheer force of will, start to have more influence than others. Cliques form, resentments build, and eventually the community either dissolves or quietly reestablishes a new, unofficial power structure. It seems the moment we dismantle one hierarchy, the building blocks for the next one are already being laid. The drive to organize ourselves into ranks is like a social gravity, constantly pulling us back into familiar patterns. This creates a fascinating paradox at the heart of human cooperation. For a group to be successful, its members must work together. We need cohesion, trust, and a shared sense of purpose to survive and thrive. This is the foundation of everything from family units to entire civilizations. But at the same time, within that same group, individuals are constantly competing. We're not just cooperating, we're also vying for status, resources, and influence. It's a delicate dance. Too much internal competition, and the group tears itself apart. Not enough, and the group might stagnate, lacking the dynamic leadership needed to adapt to new challenges. This internal battle for dominance isn't always overt. It's often a subtle, ongoing process of negotiation and positioning. Who do people listen to in meetings? Whose opinions carry the most weight? Who gets the credit for successes, and who gets the blame for failures? This tension between group cohesion and individual ambition is a constant force shaping our social worlds. It ensures that while we work together, a pecking order is simultaneously and inevitably being established. So, how do these leaders actually emerge? It's not always the strongest or the loudest person who ends up on top. The rise to leadership is often a far more complex and subtle process, governed by invisible metrics of status and value. We are constantly and often subconsciously evaluating everyone we interact with. We're assessing their competence, their confidence, their generosity, and their ability to provide value to the group. This is what's known as value signaling. Someone might signal their value by demonstrating deep knowledge on a subject, by being a skilled mediator who can resolve conflicts, or even by being the person who consistently makes everyone laugh and feel good. These signals build social capital. Over time, the person who consistently provides the most perceived value naturally gains status. People begin to defer to their judgment. They are given more responsibility not through a formal election, but through a gradual collective consensus. This is the invisible hand of hierarchy at work. Before any titles are given or any org charts are drawn, the group has already begun to sort itself based on who it trusts and values the most. The leader is often simply the person who has best convinced everyone else that the group is better off with them in charge. Now, here's the ultimate twist, the part that truly cements the inevitability of hierarchy. Even the very act of rebellion, the attempt to overthrow an existing power structure, ends up reinforcing the principle of hierarchy itself. Think about it. To organize a successful revolution or protest movement, what do you need? You need leaders to articulate the vision and inspire the masses. You need strategists to plan the actions. You need lieutenants to organize people on the ground. You need a clear structure and a chain of command to coordinate efforts effectively. A disorganized mob might cause a riot, but it can't create lasting change. A successful rebellion is, by necessity, a highly organized, hierarchical entity. The leaders of the rebellion become the new elite, the new center of power. They create their own rules, their own system of status, and their own pecking order. In the very act of trying to destroy a hierarchy, they are forced to build one of their own. It's the ultimate paradox. You cannot escape the system by using the system's own tools. Hierarchy isn't just the structure we're fighting against, it's the very weapon we have to use to fight it. This doesn't mean we should simply accept injustice or give up on making the world a fairer place. Understanding the deep-rooted nature of hierarchy isn't a call for apathy. Rather, it's a call for realism. It means recognizing that the goal may not be to eliminate hierarchy entirely, because that seems to be a fight against our own nature. Instead, the real challenge is to build better, healthier, and more just hierarchies. We can design systems with checks and balances to hold leaders accountable. We can promote mobility, ensuring that status is earned through competence and contribution, not just inherited or seized. We can build cultures that value fairness and protect the vulnerable, mitigating the worst abuses of power that hierarchies can enable. The pyramid structure of society may be inevitable, but the steepness of its slopes and the way people are treated on every level are entirely up to us. The question isn't whether we will have leaders, but what kind of leaders we choose to be and what kind of leaders we choose to follow. Thank you so much for joining this deep dive into the nature of power and society. If this video made you think, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think a truly flat society is possible? Let's discuss. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.